ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight. I'm Frank Morano. Let me read you a few comments from the Morano Radio Fans and Haters Facebook group, which you're welcome to join. Just go on Facebook, search Morano Radio Fans and Haters. From the last time that Fred Rubino was on this program, Brandon Lord says, Fred Rubino, what do you have on Frank Morano to get so much airtime? Michael Cutler adding, funny. I was just thinking the same thing after this morning's show. Maybe I'm just not getting it. Dorothy Padini. Wow. I agree. And they are part of the very vocal 30% of people that are not fans of Fred Rubino. However, the very delighted 70% continue to march on. So, backed by popular demand, here is in studio, in the flesh, comedian Fred Rubino. Hello, Fred.
Hello. Thank you for having me. We're shooting for 71% today.
Good luck. That's a tough road to hoe.
Well, I took that as when they said I had something compromising on you, that they think you're the kind of guy that does compromising things.
Yeah, if I had the time, I'd love to do some compromising things. I'm not.
There is a stable not too far from here.
Exactly. All right. There's a lot that I want to go over with you, and then I want to chat a little bit about this United CEO being murdered, which you're welcome to comment on or not comment on. Noam Laden has apparently returned from his Matt Blaze-like vacation schedule, and then Brian Kilmeade is going to call in from wherever he is. He's somewhere around. But there's a few stories I want to bring up with you, Fred. How was your Thanksgiving, by the way?
It was fantastic. It was just me and the immediate family. No drama, just fantastic food, sleeping,
At
drinking.
your house?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. You didn't have to travel anywhere?
And I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Oh, boy. Are you really a Cowboys fan? How did that happen?
That's a long story.
Really?
It's sordid. It's a sordid tale.
Well, it was impressive. 38 million people watched that game.
Yeah. And we beat the Giants.
Well, that's not as impressive.
Just showing up means you'll probably beat the Giants.
In the last 60 days, the New York Mets have won as many games as the New York Giants have. So
very impressive.
Just let that sink in.
And that's without the golden bat.
Exactly. Don't get me started on that. All right. So a man was severely injured protecting his wife from a polar bear attack. Now, this is nice. This is in Canada, and we actually have quite a few Canadian listeners. But this man, well, it's not nice that he was injured, but he was severely injured, suffered severe injuries after being attacked by this polar bear. He leapt onto a polar bear to protect his wife from being mauled. I have to be honest, I don't know your wife, but I can't see you doing this.
When I took my wedding vows, it was sickness or in health, good times and bad. It said nothing about a bear attack or a mountain lion. Once my wife enters the polar bear cage, we're essentially divorced. That is it. I'm not, she fell into the lion's cage. We're not married anymore.
Does that go both ways?
I hope so, yeah.
Okay. So if you're going into the polar bear, any polar bear vicinity, gotcha. Right.
And that's it. We're divorced. I'll tell my new girlfriend in Miami, why are you divorced? Because I couldn't bear it anymore.
That should be a form to check on reasons for divorce. Polar bear.
Absolutely, we're not doing it.
All right. What do you think of King Charles?
King Charles is He's doing what he has to do. He's being the king.
He's being the king.
It's not easy. As you know, Frank, it's not easy being the king.
Well, Mel Brooks always says it's good to be the king. But he has apparently excluded Prince Harry. And I never remember which one is which, but Prince Harry is apparently the one that nobody likes, that lives in America.
How could you like him?
Exactly. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle apparently were not invited to spend Christmas with the royals. And according to one expert, Ingrid Seward, the editor-in-chief of something called Majesty Magazine, she claimed that extending an invitation to the Sussexes, which is what Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are, was too much for King Charles. She says, no, I'm not a bit surprised they weren't invited. I think the general feeling is that it would have just created an unwarranted atmosphere, and Christmas isn't about that. Christmas is about everybody being happy and getting on with each other, and I just think that King Charles just couldn't deal with the drama.
Well, apparently Harry is actually a royal pain in the ass. But you know what? It's not like Prince Charles is running out to Party City for his son in the middle of the day. You know, he's not doing anything. He just tells the people around him, hey, the kid made some demands. Carry them out. You're the king.
What demands could Prince Harry be demanding?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's so, it's not enough that you named this poor kid Harry, by the way. The other king, there's King Henry VIII, George V.
Right, his brother, I think, is William, right?
Yeah, he's Harry. He's like, he runs a deli on the Lower East Side. It's not royal. So obviously he didn't like him from day one. To name a kid Harry.
That'll do it.
Yeah,
that'll do it. If he cared about him, he'd be King Frederick or
That's
Prince
right,
Frederick.
The first or the fifth or whatever.
Exactly. All right. This is kind of a sad story, but also maybe not for others. Missouri has executed death row inmate Christopher Leroy Collins this week for 17 years after he confessed to raping and killing his friend's 9-year-old stepdaughter. I mean, it makes me want to vomit just reading about the details. Actually,
at that point, you're not friends anymore.
So Collins was executed by lethal injection as the mother of his victim, 9-year-old Rowan Ford, watched him die along with other witnesses in the death chamber at the Potosi Correctional Center in Bonnetary, Missouri. Collins himself, a father of 2 now grown daughters, was convicted of killing Rowan on November 3rd, 2007. He confessed to police that he kidnapped a sleeping Rowan from her bedroom, took her to his trailer where he raped and strangled her. Now, I'm not the biggest death penalty advocate, but this is someone that could turn anybody into a death penalty advocate. I mean, it's cases like this as to why the death penalty was invented.
But not 17 years later.
That's it seems, especially if he confessed.
He confessed. Kill him. You see, 17 years. I wonder, you know how much it must have cost to support this guy for 17 years?
I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions. Right.
So put it on pay-per-view just to make the money back. Right? A pay-per-view execution just to pay the money back. I guarantee you it would be more exciting than that Tyson fight that we saw.
There's grass-growing footage that is more exciting than that Tyson fight.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This episode is brought to you by Factor. Optimize your nutrition this year with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Eat smarter at factormeals.com/listen50 and use code listen50 for 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Factormeals.com/listen50, code listen50. T's and C's apply.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
Faraday presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el jardinero. Y el ganador es Faraday Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera a Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. Faraday, adelante.
A man known as the Naked Carpenter has been accused of stabbing a police officer 23 times after being caught running around a park in the nude. According to the BBC, a court heard that Robert Jenner attempted to kill Sean Quinn on June 15th, 2023 in Kent, England by stabbing him in the head, face, and neck with a pair of scissors. And apparently the incident took place at Mr. Jenner's apartment after the 50-year-old ran naked around a local park and exposed himself to women earlier that day, according to the BBC. Local media reported that Quinn and a fellow officer were investigating a report of a man seen running completely naked while carrying a backpack and nipping in and out of bushes, exposing himself to women.
Why is he a carpenter? Where does the carpenter come in?
That's true.
He should have hammered him. See, if he hammered him. See, his problem is the naked carpenter is in trouble because he's ugly. If he looked like Brad Pitt, I guarantee you no woman would have called the cops. They would have just had so much work to be done in their house all of a sudden. Doors need to be fixed. That's his problem. He's ugly. If you're ugly and you're a carpenter, you're getting the cops.
I always said that with unwanted sexual advances, right? Has anybody ever accused George Clooney of an unwanted sexual advance, right?
No.
I mean, he's just as much of a creep as any of these other guys, right?
They're all creeps.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
But, if just like Clarence Thomas, if Clarence Thomas was Denzel Washington, not one sexual harassment charge would have been.
All right. Well, maybe this is a little bit of a personal question. Have you ever experimented with Viagra?
I have not.
You have not? Okay.
It was no experiment. It was a job well done.
So the question is being asked, what happens when you take Viagra while drinking alcohol? Obviously, erectile dysfunction is a common problem that affects men of all ages. Not us, of course.
No.
In fact, research published by the National Institute of Health shows that about 30 million men in this country, or just under a third of the entire U.S. adult male population, are affected by some degree of ED. But folks are asking the question, can you take Viagra with alcohol? And I'll be honest, I have no idea what the answer to this is, Fred.
Well, I can show you pictures of my two children, and that is the result of Viagra and alcohol. But you know what happens with Viagra and alcohol? Unwanted kids, divorce, child support. I mean, God did not mean for old men to have erections.
You have to wonder if they can fit all that on the warning label for the side effects, right?
The side effects of child support, divorce. I think Viagra was invented by lawyers, to tell you the truth.
Speaking of divorce, what they're calling gray divorce rates are rising, and a lot of women are speaking out about becoming single after the age of 50. There's a very noticeable trend emerging among couples over 50 who are deciding to end their long-term marriages. And they call this a gray divorce because obviously you're a little older. And there's been a significant increase in this, with the divorce rate for adults age 50 plus more than doubling between 1990 and 2010. A new study published in the Journals of Gerontology reveals that 36% of U.S. adults going through a divorce were 50 or older. Fred, what's it all about? Why are all these old people getting divorced?
You never heard of this before in like middle-class families, right? This is a modern thing because of the new advances in medicine. You know, there's LASIK eye surgery, there's high-tech hearing aids, there's new hips, new knees. You know, you were meant to be at home at 60 years old. You can't get around that good. You're not hearing your wife complaining, so it's not bothering you. She can't see how ugly you have gotten over the years, and that's how people stay together. Eyesight fades, hearing fades. Do not get that fixed, because if you get it fixed, add alcohol and Viagra, you're divorced.
I don't think that's the craziest thing you have said, actually. That is very, very
Have you ever
money.
seen me naked? It's
no, and I hope that's a question I can
go
answer
to
the same way.
FredRubino.com.
for the rest of my life. By the way, speaking of FredRubino.com, are you appearing anywhere that people should know about?
I will be in Staten Island at the Looney Bin this Saturday, and next week at America First Warehouse in Ronkonkoma, Long Island.
I've been hearing a lot of good things about that America First Warehouse.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's pro-Trump, by the way.
I may be appearing at a roast there in a couple of weeks, but
Wow.
I'm trying to find a way for me to get out of that. But
Why, Ronkonkoma? It's only 4 hours away.
Exactly.
Yeah, hop on the LIE.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That is exactly my beef with Ronkonkoma. All right, stick around if you have nothing better to do. I did want to comment about the passing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. First, it should go, I hope it goes without saying, that for a 50-year-old man, but for any person, but a 50-year-old man who seemed, very young and had a lot going for him, a father, husband, a son, to be gunned down in this sort of a fashion is just awful. Beyond awful. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch talked about this shooting yesterday.
Good morning, everyone. In Midtown Manhattan early this morning, 50-year-old Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was shot and killed in what appears, at this early stage of our investigation, to be a brazen, targeted attack. This does not appear to be a random act of violence. The victim was in New York City to speak at an investor conference. It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes. And as the victim was walking to the conference hotel, the suspect approached from behind and fired several rounds, striking the victim at least once in the back and at least once in the right calf. Many people passed the suspect, but he appeared to wait for his intended target. The suspect fled, first on foot, then on an e-bike, and was last seen in Central Park on Center Drive early this morning. The victim was removed to Roosevelt Hospital, where he was pronounced. I want to be clear. At this time, every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack. Millions of people will be enjoying the tree lighting tonight, among other holiday events, and the NYPD will be out there with them, keeping them safe.
Now, what was interesting to me about this was a few things. One, the reaction to this killing. United Healthcare has a Facebook page, and they put out a statement that said, "We're deeply saddened and shocked at the passing of our dear friend and colleague, Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. Brian was a highly respected colleague and friend to all who work with him. We're working closely with the NYPD and ask for your patience and understanding during this difficult time. Our hearts go out to Brian's family and all who were close to him." Now, that's a pretty boilerplate statement that any corporation in any field would put out if their CEO was unfortunately killed. On Facebook, there were 3,400 reactions to that. Now, what's reactions? These emojis. So you could put a sad face, and a lot of people did put a sad face.
Did he get 70% approval like we do?
Actually, you might be ahead of this guy. There were about 760 people that put a sad face. Now, out of 3,400 reactions, 2,000 of them had a ha-ha emoji.
Oh, my God.
Laughing at this guy. And the reaction that I have seen on social media, and it's not limited to old people, young people, left wing, right wing, to this guy's murder, it's just short of happiness of this guy being killed. The reaction that I'm seeing in so many different quarters of the media It's the kind of thing that we usually see whenever there's a terrorist that you've never heard of that's head of some group that we know is bad, and it's announced that they're killed. Mohammed Abdullah, Akbar, whatever, Sinwar, the head of Al-Shabaab in Khorasan, whatever, that person dies. No one knew who he was, but everyone reacts that way. That basically contained elation. This has gone on all over social media, people commenting on the Facebook page itself, making jokes about how this probably wasn't covered by his HMO, or that ambulance ride probably, are we sure it was really an emergency? Because when my husband had a heart attack and they charged us $3,000 because they said it wasn't an emergency.
That's where it all comes from.
This is, but I'm saying that's a real comment.
People stuck with co-pays and heard he got $50 million.
No doubt. Topher Toro is on TikTok. Topher Toro said this.
I think we all needed some good news today. Obviously, I would never publicly condone violence of any kind, but I don't think anyone should feel bad about this. The entire business model of private health insurance companies, especially United Healthcare, is to prey on the most vulnerable people in society, to deny life-saving medication, life-saving treatment, all to boost their own salaries and appease their shareholders. It is companies like this and people like this guy that are the reason why healthcare is so insanely unaffordable in this country.
I'm not sure what these people think is going to happen with United Healthcare, and I have United Healthcare. And
I think that guy did it. Now that I hear what he said.
But he's not alone. I could play you hundreds of these.
Yeah.
But I have United Healthcare, and they are a terrible company. We've spent a fortune on health expenses, and both my wife and I are relatively healthy. Every time we have to go to the doctor, we know we're having a tough time paying the bills that month. Having United is slightly better than having no health insurance at all. It's an awful company, in terms of insurance. But I don't know what people are thinking. Are they thinking that, they got rid of this guy? Now they're going to bring in a guy that gives people the coverage that they are expecting? No, it's going to be somebody that does the exact same thing.
So you're critical, too.
No. I'm very critical.
Where were you at 625?
But my point is, two things. One, it's terrible that people are reacting this way. Ha-ha emojis, thousands of them on this statement.
50 million. The man makes $50 million a year.
And two, the other thing is, if this many people are happy about a CEO dying like this, maybe it's time to rethink what we're doing in the healthcare system in this country, because it clearly is not working. Fred Rubino is going to stick around. Noam Laden joins us in a minute, and we'll check in with Brian Kilmeade straight ahead.